there's many thanks that are due. Many people have been a part of making this day a reality. And most importantly, we want to thank God. Because without Him, we would not be alive. None of us would be. We wouldn't be together. We wouldn't be married. And so we just want to say to everyone that God is the reason for our relationship and our marriage. And we are so thankful to God. Also, we want to thank our parents. They've sacrificed much. Not just to make this day happen, but also in raising us to love and serve God, and guiding us to the right pathway, the pathway to heaven. We want to thank, can I do it? Miss Rebecca. She is our wedding coordinator. Rebecca, where are you? Okay, she's over here. Thank you. You've done a wonderful job. Couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. We want to thank Donna and all her helpers for the food. Is it good? Yes. Yes, the food is wonderful. Thank you so much, Donna, and everybody who helped on the food side of things. Also, we want to thank Janice and all the people that helped with the decorations. Simplicity is beautiful, and we're very thankful for the way that it's been decorated. Also, we want to thank Kim Kerr for officiating today and for being willing to be a part of joining our lives together. We want to thank John Mandal for coming to shoot us. Pictures, that is.
That's right.
It's been a huge blessing, and we're very thankful you could come, John. And everybody who was involved with the video and audio side of things, from recording and the sound in the church to out here and everything. We couldn't have done it without you guys, and it's a big blessing. Also, we want to thank everyone who worked on the flowers. Aren't they beautiful? It's a job that's, the results are seen more than the work, and we're very thankful. Also, the cake. When we were walking in, I said to Hannah, "Look at the cake." It's beautiful. We want to thank Neva Brackett for making the cake and Christina Everett for decorating it. It's beautiful. Also, we want to thank the Kettle Falls Church for allowing us to use the church building and facilities. We're very, very appreciative that we could have the wedding here. It's been a big blessing. And lastly, but not least, of course, we want to thank all of you for coming to share in our special day, to share in the joining of our lives together. It's a blessing to see each of you here. Some faces we know better than others, but we're thankful that each of you could come. And we just want you to go away with the impression that this is of God, and He will lead. And as I was reading this morning in my devotions, I read Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways, acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. And as I look back in the way God has led Hannah and I together, we can see God's fingerprints everywhere. And that fact gives us the assurance that His fingerprints will be on the rest of our lives. And that is our desire. Thank you so much.
The liberty to also share a few words of advice. I told Jonathan when he asked me to be the best man that he might be making a mistake. But as you can imagine, with three brothers, growing up, I can't say that we were always the best of friends. We had our typical sibling rivalries and days that were we played better apart, but we had our fun times too. And I very much appreciate Jonathan growing up in our home. I think that I have appreciated him as a brother far more now as adults than I did earlier. It's oftentimes that we take for granted those that are closest to us. And I have some regrets there. But I appreciate the relationship that we have now and the opportunity for that relationship to continue to grow and go deeper. I remember there's a couple of memories I'll recall. One was after I had left home and I was in college. Jonathan was pretty much the only son still at home, and oftentimes when I would call to talk to mom or dad, there was a couple of times when Jonathan answered the phone, and I had called to talk to mom or dad, not Jonathan. Not that I didn't want to talk to him, but you know, there was something specific I needed to talk to mom or dad about, and I remember him making a comment to me, something along the lines of, and I can't say it word for word, maybe he could, you never want to talk to me, you just want to talk to mom or dad. But over time, that has changed. And I remember as we began to get closer, I was at college leading canvassing programs and leading out in LE work, and Jonathan made the decision to come and canvass with me for a summer. I was actually a little surprised. I had been encouraging him to do that for a while, I think. And I was actually a little surprised that he said yes, that he came that summer. And that summer was the summer of, let me get my dates right, summer of 2013. It was the summer that I began dating my wife. And so that summer, Jonathan had some inkling that there was something coming up, I think. And early on in the summer, we were out on a Sabbath afternoon hike in southern Kentucky, and we're walking, and he began to ask me questions about who I might be interested in. And I remember thinking, oh, I don't know if I want to tell him. And the thought went through my mind, if I don't tell him whom I might be interested in, he probably won't tell me who he would be interested in. So for the sake of my curiosity, I opened up and shared with him my interest in Beth, and it turned out that later that summer, Jonathan was, after we had started dating, Jonathan was instrumental in orchestrating a surprise visit where Beth was able to come and visit our canvassing program, and completely surprised me. And he was kind of the mastermind behind that surprise. So we made a lot of wonderful memories that summer. I remember, for those of you that don't know what it's like for canvassers or magabookers, when we go out for a summer, we often spend the summer sleeping on the floor in a church or school, classroom, Sabbath school rooms, wherever. And so we were sleeping on the floor in the basement of a church on foam pads in the floor. And I remember Jonathan has a habit of talking in his sleep. Just warning you, Hannah. Sometimes he may tell secrets. He might tell you what's actually on his heart. Anyway, you can look forward and keep your ears open. Anyway, I remember one of my memories from that summer was waking up one night, and as canvassers, we drilled our students to memorize what they're going to say at the door. So you come to the door and you had to have memorized what you're going to say, because you never know what's coming behind the door, what the person looks like, what the dogs are barking, the kids crying, and you had to know what you're going to say. And so we drilled it into them, and they memorized and memorized and memorized. Well, one night Jonathan woke up and he began to canvass me. And I was kind of listening to that, and I thought, this is strange. And then I realized, he's still asleep. I don't remember what happened after that, but I just had that distinct memory of waking up in the middle of the night, listening to him say, "Hi, my name is Jonathan. We're students working on a special scholarship program." And I'll spare you the rest. But really, I can kind of trace back to that summer when Jonathan and I became much closer as the years have passed since then. And it has been just a real blessing to see the Lord working in his life in a powerful way. And I remember watching the decisions that he made and praying for God's direction in his life. And getting to see those prayers answered has been one of the most rewarding things in our relationship as brothers. So I praise God for that. Being an older brother and now having 2.5 years of marriage experience, I feel experienced in relation to these young newlyweds and very inexperienced in relation to many of you. But there are 3 simple things that I have found very useful and practical in my marriage that I wanted to share with you this afternoon. Number 1, in your courtship and your relationship together up to this point, you've taken the opportunity to explore Hannah's heart, to get to know her, to hear her thoughts. And I want to encourage you never to stop seeking her heart. It's often easy to let the busyness of life, the busyness of ministry, as you work together to serve God, distract you from seeking her heart. And as you work together, I want to encourage you to continue to seek her heart, to go deeper, and to be sure that you are the one that has your ear tuned to the deepest cry of her heart. You can think about it like a garden, that the soil of her heart is yours to cultivate. And the more that we're cultivating a garden at the house where we're living right now, 2 years ago we moved in. I think you were there, actually. That reminds me of another memory. I'll save that one. But you were there, and you remember we tilled up that soil. It was sod in the backyard. And we tilled it up to put in the garden. And each year as we've tilled, we've gone deeper. And I want to encourage you that as the months and the years go by, to continue to till deeper as you become one together. The second is communication. Beth and I have found, and I don't know exactly where she's at. She may be with Caleb in the back. Okay. Beth and I have found that communication has been the key that has kept the channels of our communication open. Being able to talk and communicate through difficulties. You will have difficulties. No matter how perfect and happy you feel right now, there are difficulties on the road of life. And so I challenge you to keep those channels of communication open, that you can talk through those difficulties. And as a team, work together to find a solution that honors God in your personal lives, in your marriage, and in your ministry. And lastly, love unconditionally. Perfect love, the love that God has, requires perfect freedom. And that requires the freedom, you to give the freedom to Hannah to make whatever choices she wants to. And to love her the same regardless of those choices. To lead her in the paths of righteousness, as you might say, as a spiritual leader in your home. But to love her, to cherish her, and don't let that change in any way by the choices that she may make. And God will honor you in that as you love her as Christ has loved us. Amen? One last memory. Since I did remember. This is actually one that I forgot. I probably shared that story about the garden. When Beth and I were moving, we accepted a pastoral call to Michigan Conference. And we were living in Arkansas at the time. And Jonathan had come out there for, I think it was for Daniel's graduation. And he had graciously offered to help us move. We had everything packed up, and we were packing everything into the truck. And he helped us drive the truck and car up to Michigan. And then he spent about a week or week and a half, something like that, settling in, unloading. And his help, his assistance during that time was invaluable. as we went through that process. But one particular memory that stands out, he knows what I'm going to say, was the night that we were spending on the way to Michigan. We stopped in, now he knows. The night that we were spending in Indiana, I think it was, on our way to Michigan. And we stopped at the hotel. Beth and I went in to check in to the hotel, and he stayed in the truck, out in the car. I don't remember exactly. Anyway, we got everything checked in, and we went in to stay there. He came in with us, and the hotel clerk pulled me aside, and they said, you have to pay extra money for him to stay in the room. And they had never asked me how many people were going to stay in the room. It was a room with 2 beds and just plenty of space, 4 people. And so anyway, they called me over, and they charged me $6 for Jonathan to stay in our room. I was happy to pay the $6. And I don't even remember how this joke got started, but somehow, and maybe he coined the phrase himself. I don't remember. Do you remember? Try. Okay. Anyway, so the joking term that has been applied to him since this time was, given that he was helping us so much, was that he was our $6 slave. So since that time, every now and then when we ask him to do something or to help out, or this pops back up in our memories, in our family, in our interactions. And so now that he's married and there's 2 of them, I'm not sure if this means you're $12 slave, or you are invaluable in our lives, and your relationship has been beautiful to watch, and we look forward to getting to know you, Hannah, better. And I know that we won't get to spend as much time as we would like, given our proximity and location on this earth, but I look forward to spending eternity together and many years to come, and communicating and sharing and sharing together. So may God bless you. May He be the center of your home.
A while ago, my sister told me, you need to make sure you're ready for the speech. And I thought, I've never given a speech before. I'm not sure how to do this. About her, especially, or about anyone. Anyway, I am thankful for this opportunity to tell you all about my younger sister. Last night I gave her a hug and I said, remember, tomorrow I'm telling on you. I really wish that we were really close siblings when we were younger, but unfortunately we weren't. But I do have some pretty cool memories with her when we were younger. But first of all, just tell you a little bit about her personality when we were younger. She did well in trying to keep me in line all the time. So she would go around bossing me, telling me what to do, or making sure I knew what to do all the time. And we decided eventually to start calling her Miss Bossy. And so we call her Miss Bossy a lot. Okay, but for better memories, I was the crazy sister that was big into pioneers, reenactments and things like that, dressing up like the pioneer days. And I'm really, really thankful for that. Even though Hannah probably wasn't as big into it as I was, she was willing to just get in there with me. And we made houses out of pallets and did all kinds of things, dressed up together, and that's some of my favorite memories from childhood. We did that a lot together. We made a lot of food out of, mud and grape juice out of beets, and yeah, a lot of fun with that. One thing that I have come to understand that Jonathan and Hannah believe so much is that it's better together.
Amen.
Jonathan, you're not the only one that talks in your sleep. Just saying, my sister does that too. In fact, she was talking in her sleep last week. So I was too tired to know what she said. I just rolled over in bed. I'm like, oh, she's just talking. Yeah. One incident I remember when we were little. I woke up to her crying in bed. She was crying really loud, and she was screaming, "Mommy, Mommy, I need Mommy." And I got up and I looked up at her and said, "Oh, Hannah, I will get Mommy." And so I ran over and got Mom in the next room. And as soon as we came in, she was just like quiet. Not a peep, not a move, nothing. And I thought that was so unfair. Okay, one of my other favorite memories, I don't know what got us into doing this, but we decided to cut our favorite picture flowers out of seed catalogs and other catalog magazines that had picture flowers and pictures. And so we cut the flowers out, and we found some kind of laminating material, and we laminated the flower pictures, and then we started selling them to each other. So my room was across from hers, and we would take turns going to each other's room and selling the pictures. And eventually I thought, hey, wait a minute, this isn't fair. She's like buying so many of my, I'm like, her pictures are so nice, a lot nicer than mine, and therefore like my money is getting used up really fast. Whereas like she's like getting all this money, and yeah, she's not really buying much of my own pictures. So I was trying to come up with techniques, ways to try to get her to buy more of my pictures. Okay, another one of my favorite memories of when we were little, we were playing this game outside. It was dark, and we were looking up into the sky, and she points up there and she says, "There's a little dipstick." It was so cute. She might have been like 5 years old, something like that at the time. It was really cute. Little dipstick. She grew to have this great long liking for scaring me. She was really good at that. And to this day, it doesn't take much for her or Jonathan, really, to scare me. But I really decided, I think it was around 13 at the time, I really needed to get her back. I just had to scare her for once in life, at least. I hadn't been able to up until that point. And this one day, I saw her, she was in the hallway, and right at the end of the hallway was the door to the office. And so I went to the office, and I saw she was coming, and she had the laundry basket over her head, upside down over her head, and she was just singing to herself and having a great time. Perfect. I got her really good that time. And I've tried a few times since then, and I think I've gotten her once or twice since then, but not very successful. But Jonathan's going to help me on that. So, he already has. Okay. When we were younger, and growing up, my sister used to tell me sometimes, you know, you're taller than me right now, but eventually I just might pass you up. You know, sometimes the younger sibling ends up getting taller than the older one. Just watch and wait. I'll become taller. Well, the years went by, and eventually, like around the last time I think we really compared ourselves, Hannah finally had to admit to me, she's like, you know what, I think you're forever going to be taller than me. And I said, I told you, I think, it's fine with me. Okay, but that wasn't the only time where, I thought I was probably right. I mean, I thought I was going to be taller than her. I had this idea that I was pretty sure for years that she would likely be the one to get married first. I don't know why I thought that, but I was pretty sure of it. And I would tell her that sometimes. And she's like, no, I don't think so. I'm like, no, I really think so. Well, I think it's very evident what happened. When they began courting, I reminded her, remember, I told you, you're first. But last but not least, I want to share my favorite memories. I'm so thankful. I will forever be really thankful that we could be in a mission field together. That's really what brought us very close. I'm so thankful for the personal support my sister has been to me. Through my physical problems and other things that have happened, she's been so close, always been there for me. And there's just times where I just cry and I could not say anything, but she'd just lay her head on my shoulder and give me a hug, and she's always there. I'm just so thankful for the compassionate heart that she has been, not just to me, but as I've seen her minister to our students and other people, villagers, her heart just goes out so, it's open so wide for them. So much compassion and love for the people. My dear sister, I want to encourage you to continue that heart of love for those around you. Continue to embrace those who are hurting around you. And my brother, I'm so glad he's officially my brother. May God continue to guide you in your ministry. I'm very thankful you both are continuing to work in Thailand. And I believe God is going to touch many lives through your team effort now. And I feel more blessed than I ever have been. God bless you.
It's been mentioned to me that we are bordering on presumption in terms of our glorious weather. So we have a few things, although we're good. The bride and groom are going to cut the cake in a moment. But Jim shared a wonderful story with me yesterday. And Jim, I wonder if you would be willing to share that with the group today.
I do have a very interesting story to share about how the Lord gave me a place in Hannah and Jonathan coming together. But to hear them talk reminded me of a few other things I want to share as well. And the first one I want to get out of the way so I don't forget it. But I have a warning for Hannah. Not only does Jonathan talk in his sleep, he also sometimes plays volleyball in his sleep. So be careful. If he ends up hitting you at night, don't take it personally. And that happened when we had a practice in our church of playing volleyball on Saturday nights at the school. And when he would play late sometimes, and he would come home and he'd go to bed, and he would be playing volleyball in his sleep that night. So it was really fun. So the story I wanted to share about how they came together, and the Lord gave me a place, an honored place, I believe, in them coming together. It wasn't intentional on my part. I want to emphasize that at the beginning. But at Faith Camp one year, I was invited to come to Sunshine Orchard in Thailand to run their agriculture program. They weren't able to come at that point, but I wanted to go and visit to see if that would potentially be a fit for my wife and I. So I went to visit Thailand, Sunshine Orchard, in December, I think, in 2011. And Hannah was 16 years old at the time. I hadn't known Hannah very much at all, but I ended up spending quite a bit of time with the Stuck family while I was there. They had me over to their home to share meals. And I got to know Hannah pretty well during that period of time. I saw her in the kitchen, how she could put things together without a recipe, and she was a fabulous cook. I really enjoyed eating what it is that she made, and I had a chance to talk with her, and she was actually a very fun person to talk to. And she has this mischievous nature to her that really isn't destructive, but it's really fun. I also saw her organizational abilities in terms of the help that she was to her father in running the school over there. She also was teaching English and at the same time learning a different language and acting as a translator over there. And then in addition to that, she was helping her mother do medical work. I was very impressed with this young lady. So I came home, and my family reports to me that I couldn't stop talking about how nice a girl Hannah was. In fact, one of the things that I said was, Hannah's really going to make someone a good wife someday. At the time, I had no intention of her being a potential daughter-in-law, but Jonathan was listening. He took note, and he began to observe. And the Lord blessed, and here we are today. There was one other story I wanted to share. And I should have done that at the beginning because it slipped my mind. You can't help me. Oh, maybe I'll remember it before this is over.
Thank you, Jim. Wow. I thought we were already cut the cake, but you are ready. Okay. Again, if obviously the cake is here, and again we thank Eve and Christina for beautiful cake that we do have, and Jonathan and Hannah are going to cut the cake. So if you want your picture takers, if you would like to be close by, or whomever, come and gather, and we will. Oh yes, well, I've just been informed that John Mandel has priority over all photographers. So yeah, we want to capture this moment for incivility.
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
He said, is that your doing stuff? Because they were helping you cut trees down, right?
Well, that's not one of them that I remember.
Smile.
No. You mean the bottom layer? You mean the bottom one? The one with the Save it for me. Do it after. They give reviews. First anniversary.
He's way out there.
Thank you. Oh, really? Good tell.
Stick the whole thing in her mouth. Don't make a mess. Yeah. Oh. That's not fair.
Come on, she's your daughter.
I know, I tell her to make give him a big face. Got it?
Very cool. That was not even intentional. Too bad we didn't fill him with helium. Anybody else want bubbles? Have fun.
Now we're standing their way. We can hold back to their car full of this. Oh, so low. They can't find the key. Watch out.
Go ahead.
They're gonna run over me. They're gonna run over me. Yeah.
Yo, missed it.
Sorry,
Yeah.
no problem.
Whoa.
Get out of your way.
They're gonna run over me.